Folks, this next segment is going to be an all-time favorite for me. We have a studio filled with people who make a difference in our community. Let me start with Joe Marcisson, who's the executive director of the YMCA in Mattapoisett, along with Ray and Sue from Cottage Street Motors. Let's hear a nice round of applause for these wonderful folks. Joe, it's been, what, how many months since we've seen each other, buddy?
Since like December 10th or so. And, you know, what's so funny is that I think last time we were talking, there was another Star Wars movie coming out, and here it is again, right?
How
that
odd
was
is
so many
that?
months ago. We've done so much in that time. And gosh, I love these two people to my right here, both Sue and Ray from Cottage Street Motors. You know, they live by their motto of the people pleasers. And
Yes.
let me talk about how. You know, not only when we were there on December 10th and we raised all that money through, you know, that amazing broadcast, but we also, you know, they were able to donate the van to us. And then on top of that, they were able to let us have the money that was also raised to continue to do more good in the community. And I want to talk about some of that good.
Yes.
So since December, that van that was donated has delivered to our kids in New Bedford, that's 300 kids each weekend, 26,967 pounds of food.
Oh, my gosh.
That's just about 13.5 tons, to put it in perspective. So a whole circus of elephants worth of food, and what a good it's doing.
And before the van, you were loading bags into your trunk, into the back seat. Thank God a state cop didn't stop you for blocking the rear view mirror. And
For sure.
You were delivering these on your own, and folks, Cottage Street Motors stepped in at a point where I really didn't think we were going to reach that threshold. And like an angel from heaven, set in your hands keys that now made this dream a reality. And that's exactly the kind of glue that makes our community so special.
For sure.
You know. And since then, you've done all of this good, all of these tons of food going to low-income children who over the weekends probably, well, let's say they could have fallen through the cracks nutritionally, right?
Sure,
if not
sure.
otherwise. And where do you go from here now that we're in the summertime?
You know, there's so many things. You know, the Y continues to try to fill the gaps in the community, and so, you know, if it's the Nutrition on Weekends program, if it's our summer camps, there's just so much going on right now. And you know, when we try to continue to meet those needs, it's because of community partners like Cottage Street Motors, and because of, you know, radio stations like WBSM and 1420 here, that we're able to continue to share our message and spread more love and joy in this community, and really try to meet the critical needs of equality wise. You know, if we take just kind of this visual image, if, you know, of a fence, a picket fence, and, you know, Phil, you're pretty tall, you might be able to just stand and see right over that picket fence, but there are other people, like maybe myself, who's a little bit more vertically challenged. I might need a step up to be able to see over that fence. And, you know, Sue, we'll say that maybe you need too, right? And so some people just need that extra step, and these families certainly need that, to be able to have that level playing field, that equality piece as much as possible. And so that's what we're trying to aim for. And in camp, in the summer, the same thing. You know, we're trying to provide educational experiences so that we can curb summer learning loss. We can have them explore things that we never thought was even possible. You know, people have fallen in love with sailing, or, you know, rock climbing, or even the arts and humanities that they never thought they would even be interested in. And so we're all about that. We're trying to, you know, kind of create those new opportunities for kids to be curious and to develop those character values that we know that will just hopefully last a lifetime. So.
Joe Marcisson, I'm sure the Y is so lucky to have you. I'm sure they understand your importance and who you are in our community. Ray and Sue at Cottage Street Motors, everything said about you is true. I mean, your business is selling automobiles and trucks, but your values go beyond putting people behind a safe vehicle. It goes into the community itself. How do you feel about that?
It feels really good to help people.
Yes, absolutely.
Makes you feel good yourself, and it makes the people that you help feel good, and hopefully it'll rub off on other people to help.
Yep,
What you
absolutely.
give.
Yes.
If you give, you get in return.
How's it been going for Cottage Street Motors,
It's been
Ray?
going great, Phil. It's been a great thing to work with everybody. One thing I really enjoy is working with the people. The sad part about it is that these kids need help. And that's what we're all about, working with the communities and helping out. You know, everybody has hassles. We want them to go away.
I know, and folks, not to harp on this, but life has its speed bumps. You know, it could be a divorce, it could be sickness, something to hold you back. And Ray and Sue understand you still have to pick up the kids. You still have to go to, drop them off at school and do the shopping and go to work. And with those circumstances, they're not going to punish you in any way. In fact, you value yourselves so that you look for people that you can help. So that philosophy of we all rise by lifting others is really a central part of your business.
It is, Phil, and that's one of the things that we enjoy about, because, nothing's worse than being behind the 8-ball. But when that 8-ball moves and you go with it and you save, it's unbelievable. And Sue, with the Susan plan, she just does wonders.
I know you do. You put a lot of people behind.
I put a lot of work into it.
Oh, I know it.
Find out what their finances are and what they can afford, and go from there.
This way you don't get yourself into something that you can't pay off
Because there's a
in
lot
the
of people
future.
out there that got into loans and
Yeah, too
they're
much.
way over their head.
That's right. Well, to all three of you, thank you for giving us an update. Joe, Sue, Ray, you're all points of light in our community. You know that.
Thanks, Phil.
And we thank you, Joe Marcis, and we thank Ray and Sue at Cottage Street Motors. With your permission, I'd like to segue now into that was then, and this is now. It's summertime. And what happens in the summertime is also of vital importance to us here at WBSM. We believe at Townsquare Media that it is the responsibility of a radio station to not only bring you the news, the weather, and, of course, traffic in the morning and talk shows and whatnot, but also the power of this microphone has a responsibility, and that responsibility in our community is to do good, is to bring the community together. And as we segue from the YMCA there in Mattapoisett, we now look at the YMCA in New Bedford, what they're doing. And this summer, low-income children could experience what they call a summer learning loss when they get out of school in June, and by the time they go back after Labor Day, they forget a lot of what they learned, or they're just not ready to pick up and learn again. And joining us this morning, we're going to talk about what we can do here at the radio station, what the Y is doing, what the New Bedford school systems are doing, and what you can do, folks, as we welcome Rhonda Vugan, who is the Development Director at YMCA SouthCoast, Anne Maria Sawyer, who is the Education Director, Jen Ferland, the Director of Supplemental Services at the New Bedford Public School System, and it's wonderful to have all three of you together. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. May I start, I think, with Rhonda? Tell us a little bit about this program and how the Y got involved in this.
Sure, I'm happy to. As people on the South Coast know, YMCA South Coast has been providing after school and summer activities for over 150 years. What we've seen over time is that there are students that actually need a little bit more support. And so we started looking at how we could, what I keep calling, lean in to the New Bedford public school system and help them do what they're trying to do, which is close the educational achievement gap that is prevalent with many low-income students. So together, we did the hard work up front and talked about the goals and objectives of the New Bedford public school system and the services that are provided through YMCA South Coast, and how we can combine our efforts to be able to tackle the huge issue of summer slide, summer learning loss, and kids that are just continuing to fall behind. We want to give them a leg up, and that's the reason why we partnered together to provide this program.
I think it makes so much just common sense. Any parent or grandparent knows that during the summer, we're going to have that learning loss. The kids aren't reading as much as they ought to, and by the time they go back to school, they've forgotten a lot of what they learned. And this program is known as what? What is the name of the program?
The program is called Power Scholars Academy. So we refer to all of the students as scholars, and we want them to really feel like they are successful academically and they can do whatever they put their minds to.
It sounds like a positive approach.
Yes, very positive. We actually make a great point of saying it's not summer school, it's not mandatory. The kids actually receive golden tickets to come so that they feel like it's a really big deal and they're invited to participate in this exceptional program that they're very special to get to be part of.
That is awesome. So there's this is a different kind of program. And tell us, how is the New Bedford Public Schools involved here, Jen? Tell us your role.
I oversee summer programming after school as well. There's some more there, but in the past, we always had summer programming. We did half days purely academic, and we struggled to get students there. The timing and the logistics just didn't work for families. And so when the Y had approached Dr. Durkin about partnering for Power Scholars Academy, she was really excited and called me and said, we have to do this. So we are able to offer 5 weeks of programming for students, full days, where they do academics in the morning, and then they do enrichment activities in the afternoon, things like swimming at the high school pool, going rock climbing, doing coding and robotics, and then Fridays they go on field trips.
All this costs money, though, right?
It costs money for us, but not for the students.
Right, right. And how did you go about selecting the students?
So we looked at all of the data, which, again, the partnership with New Bedford Public Schools was so critical in that. Normally a Y might not have access to that data, so they looked through all of the data of the students and chose students who were about a year to 2 years behind in their ELA, English Language Arts, and math proficiency, so that the program can really help boost those scholars and get them to where they need to be successful in September.
And when does this begin? Tell us of the logistics of the program.
We're starting June 25th, the Monday after school ends. So we're jumping right in and running all the way through July 27th.
Why do you call it Power Scholar Academy? What is, I mean, I love the name. It inspires just by hearing Power Scholar Academy. Was there something behind this, the thinking of taking and increasing the inspiration of our children?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It is actually a program that was developed by a national nonprofit called Bell that partners with YMCA of the USA at the national level. So it's really their name, but I think you're absolutely right. We really try to instill that in our scholars, that they have the power to make positive changes in their life and to do well in school and to do whatever they put their minds to, and that they hold the key to that and will help and support them through that process. So
folks, if you're just joining us, we're talking about a Power Scholar program, the Academy itself. It's a full day. It's 5 weeks long, and this happens in the summer. Lots of times when the children forget a lot of what they learned between June and September. And these are low-income students, kindergarten through 7th grade here in our city in New Bedford, who don't have summer programs. They're at risk, regardless, educationally, and when that happens, you know what happens emotionally. It's all connected, folks. So beginning now, we're going to talk about this very special program, and in a minute, we're going to tell you how you can harness your goodness, you, the listeners of WBSM, WBSM. We hope that you're going to help Power Scholar Academy not only bring these students into a new level, but also with your help and your empathy, we're going to end up with a better city and a brighter future for our children. But before we get to that, is there anything else about the program itself that I didn't ask that you'd like our audience to know about? Anything whatsoever?
Well, I think that there's just one more piece because it's an important side of Power Scholars Academy. So it is a 5-day program. 4 days are around the enrichment and the academic, and then we do Friday field trips. What this does, it actually opens our students to a whole new set of experiences that they might not have had before. And so we are very focused and pointed to make sure that those Friday field trips are things that not only connect with the educational work that we're doing, but also brightens their day, gives them additional experiences, and just have fun.
So, folks, if you would like to help this program that helps struggling children academically, to a summer that's filled not only with high-quality learning, but just the socialization is going to help them emotionally. It's going to be a beautiful way to spend the summer. Enrichment activities, field trips. They're going to learn. It sounds like just the perfect way to spend a summer, especially for our at-risk children. Please consider helping out. Now, how can our listening audience help out in this endeavor?
So this is a true partnership between the New Bedford Public Schools and YMCA SouthCoast, and we made a commitment to making sure that this program continues, but that is only done through donations and grants. The New Bedford Public School Systems constantly looks at new ways to be able to help fund this program, and the Y also does their part. Through that, we go out into the community and we write grants, but we also look for donations. Donations are the best way to be able to support our students, and so there are different giving levels. There are different ways that you can help our students get the supplies that they need in their classroom, to help with the transportation to get them to, places that might be a little bit outside or a lot outside of New Bedford, because we want to get them there and get those experiences. And so we have different giving levels, but that is one of the best ways that you can help us. Help with supplies, help with the students getting additional experience, help them to get swim lessons. This program does need funding. We are committed to making sure that more and more students have this opportunity, and the more support we get, the more that we're able to expand the program to help even more students.
This is so awesome. And where does the giving start? Can it be as low as $10, $15, $20, $25, something like that?
Every single dollar amount helps.
Fine. That's great. And every single dollar will go to the classroom activity, to the field trip, to enriching our local children, folks, who are at risk. So is there any better way to bring the community together than a program like this that enriches our children and makes our community a much better place? You were just mentioning commitment. I want to also mention commitment. Townsquare Media and WBSM commit themselves to whatever we can do to help out in this endeavor. 100% count on us. Would you do that? And it's a pleasure to do it. Absolutely. All right. And speaking of commitment, you were mentioning Bell. Is that the company that started all of this?
Yeah, Bell is a national nonprofit education, and they have done years of this sort of programming and tweaking along the way. They have a lot of data and evidence that shows that this program does move the needle for students in literacy and math. And so with their partnership at the national level with YMCA of the USA, they rolled it out to the local Ys to partner with the school department. So they have a lot of experience making sure that this is a very high quality program for the scholars, because that's what they deserve.
With that kind of partnership, I want to find out a little from David Mora. Come on over here. I just saw you walking in to the studio. Sit over here and tell me, who are you with and why are you here, Dave? What business do you have?
So I own Pro Group Contracting in New Bedford, and it's been a privilege of ours over the last few months to really work with Townsquare and get involved in programs that help the community. They presented this opportunity to us, and being familiar with everything that the schools do and the YMCA does, it was a no-brainer for us to get involved. And the biggest benefit is that these ladies and their teams are committed to the children of the town, and really they do all the heavy lifting and they do all the work and they organize it all. And for us, it's as simple as making a small donation, but you know, we can leverage that small donation to really make sure that all their work pays off and they can help more and more children. So, you know, we're definitely coming to the table for at least one child, and we're going to make sure that he or she, whoever is selected, gets through this program this summer. And you know, the challenge is for the rest of the businesses out in the community to step up and do the same thing. I mean, everybody here you know, they're doing all the work. We're not asking people or businesses to really do a lot of work. That's all taken care of for you. But dig deep and find a way to help a child. And you know, that's what we're excited about. And I'm hoping that you give me an opportunity to come on air and meet everybody here is going to sort of help that along a little bit. So
Absolutely.
The rest of the businesses in the community, and even, you know, individuals, it doesn't take a whole lot to help some of these New Bedford kids, and one of them is going to find a passion in this whole thing and impress us all. So that's the long-term benefit of this thing is that they're going to get exposed to something that they wouldn't have otherwise. It's going to strike a chord, and one of them is going to do great things, and that we can all feel better about. So
Wow.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, wow. David Mora, Pro Group Contracting, putting the challenge out there in our community. Folks, step up to the plate and at least equal the wonderful donation of sponsoring a child in this worthy program. David, we're going to have you back, and we'll also have the YMCA back. But this is, let's call it, the launch of this wonderful idea for the summer. With $25, you can provide books and supplies for a classroom, and for up to $1,000 that covers the cost of one field trip for 96 children, you can make a huge difference, ladies and gentlemen. With that, let me thank everyone here. Have a wonderful holiday weekend, and thank you for what you're doing with this great Power Scholar Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm Phil Paleologos. Thanks, everyone, for listening.